Hi guys, in this show we'll be looking at Mesa, Elliot, Nevado, Fox, Roebuck, Grubbs, Jones and Griffin. We're looking at 2001's... What's that? Oh, double take.
Hello everyone and welcome to another full steam ahead episode of 100 Things We Learned from Film. I'm one of your hosts, I'm Planty, and I'm on the AMTRAK to Texas.
And I'm the other guy, and I'm always doing double takes. And triple takes in some cases.
Mate, this film was enough to give everyone a fucking double take.
Oh, God.
You know, this is real kind of like bargain basement Disney Plus fodder, this, isn't it?
Yes, it just feels as if they've done a whole lot of films at the exact same time.
We are the podcast that tries to learn 100 things from a different film every single week. John Boy has taken a list of things that he's learned. I've done the same. And we're getting together to try and make that 100 things we've learned from this week's film, John, which is Wet.
It is double take.
Double take. Now, I'd not heard of this at all until I was scrolling through Disney Plus about 5 cans in the other night, looking for something different for us to watch.
And then you took a double take and went, oh, what's that? Well,
I'd given you 3 options, hadn't I? So I'm going to lay the blame firmly at your door.
Yeah, I'd seen the other ones.
This, Corky Romano,
yep.
and Bushwhacked. And you'd seen Bushwhacked as well? Okay.
Aye, yeah.
All right, okay. Arguably, this is probably the least dog shit of those 3. I don't know. I've not seen any of them. So,
Corky Romano's no much better, to be fair.
Okay, that's fair enough. Shall we?
We shall.
Fantastic. Before we do, please, if you enjoy what you hear, rate and review us, tell your pals about it, join us on the socials, which we'll be talking about at the end when we tell you how many things we have got. We get a title card, double take, and we get a Touchstone Pictures card. I love Touchstone Pictures. It's one of those things that really reminds me of the 90s.
Yeah.
Founded in 1984. Killed off in 2018 by Daddy Disney, which is why we've got it on this. Biggest grosses worldwide. Armageddon, $553 million. Purdy Woman, previous episode, $463 million. Pearl Harbor, never going to be an episode, $449 million dues.
And it's lucky to get that as well.
Indeed it is. It's a George Gallo film. Right. I looked into this guy's IMDb. He has got an absolute metric fuck ton of credits, right?
Mm-hmm.
He wrote Midnight Run.
Oh,
it's
really?
a great movie. Great movie. He also wrote See Spot Run, which is less good. That's your man from Scream, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Yeah. I'll be honest with you, I actually quite like that.
I think I've maybe seen 10 minutes of it. And he also wrote The Whole 10 Yards. Yeesh.
Ooh,
Matthew Perry
the
sequel nobody asked for.
Jesus, that's right. Nobody asked for the original one, but yeah, I remember that.
Could I be any less funny? Yeah. He's directed a shed load of films I've never heard of, and apparently punched up the script for Analyze This. You know, the De Niro Crystal.
Adam Sandler? All right. I thought it was Adam Sandler.
No, De Niro and Crystal.
It's anger management, I'm thinking.
Oh, Jesus. I wish somebody had punched that up. I went to the cinema to see that.
Did you really?
What a loser. Yeah, well, it's Jack, innit? Jack's last film? Question mark. Maybe that's why he retired. Maybe. I think I would have retired if I was in such a piece of shit. That or The Bucket List. You ever seen that?
Aye,
Come on, Jack. Let's go and fill up our bucket lists.
It's Morgan Freeman in it.
It is. Yeah.
Yeah, Morgan Freeman.
Which is what that was not an impression of. Right. So the film opens with this guy getting his shoes shined.
Yeah. Is that still a thing, by the way? Did you look that up?
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, but you kind of get it done in an airport now, but they don't tend to have the shoe shine box anymore.
Yeah.
Hey, go get your shoe shine.
I was just looking at it. I actually noticed the prices. I didn't know if punched in whether it was a career or not, but it just says, as you say, as a courtesy at airports for businessmen. But prices are $8 to $15 for shoes and $10 to $20 for boots.
Just spit on it and wipe it on the back of your trousers, mate.
I know.
Jesus, what's wrong with you? You can understand, though, why Joe Pesci got so annoyed in Goodfellas.
Oh, yeah, it's paying that
The whole
amount.
point is it's meant to be a very badly paid job.
Mhm.
And that's why Billy Bats got murdered and buried in the
So he
thing.
did.
We just need a knife for the. He got his hoof. He got his paw stuck. His hoof. Again, possibly the second episode on the trot we've mentioned Goodfellas. It's got to come. It's got
I know.
come.
It's in the post. It's in the post.
It is. This guy drives away on this posh car as your man pulls out a proper 2001 cell phone, doesn't he?
Did you see what it was?
No, I didn't.
It was the metallic Nokia 8850.
All right, okay. I noticed the pull-up aerial bit.
There's a few phones flying about in here.
Okay, well spotted. I'm glad you did. The posh car drives away to this big house. Anyway, it turns out he's the governor. He's got the flags on, hasn't he?
Yeah.
So
Diplomatic immunity.
I knew you were going to say it. I didn't say it because I knew you would do it. He goes into his house and gets shot by this mystery man in this big house. He steps on a dog toy, which is going to be important later on. Kind of going to be important later on. Anyway. We now fast forward to New York City. Did you clock who was doing the song as it flew into New York City?
No, because I was honest with you, I was too busy in awe of watching the Twin Towers and realised that this was released on January 2001.
Oh, right.
So it was literally 9 months before it all happened. And then when I looked at 2001, I realised that Orlando Jones had made Evolution at the same time. So Evolution might be the follow-up to sort of Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
It's Dan Aykroyd's sort of alien version.
Yeah, that's right.
Which I really loved. So he must have been churning out a lot of films at the same time.
I think he did just slightly after the Time Machine as well.
Yeah,
was he the hologram
Guy Pearce
in the thing? And Samantha Mumba.
That's right.
Oh, hello there, it's me, Samantha Mumba. Just how I don't think it sounds. That's all. Jesus, sorry.
By the way, I rated that. Rated that Time Machine, but
yeah, so did I. Yeah, well, certainly the first hour before it became about the Morlocks.
I think after that, just thought it started getting a bit.
Orlando Jones is explaining how the moon kind of got exploded,
cracked.
Yeah, that was cool. Anyway, yeah, this piece of music was none other than Firefest hero Ja Rule.
Oh God!
I mean, is there a more 2001 artist than Ja Rule? It's called Put It On Me, featuring Vita, the ill-fated PlayStation handheld, and Lil Mo, but not the one from EastEnders that Trevor had.
I was going to say Little Mo.
Lil Mo, but not that one.
Oh God!
Hey Moma, how come you no speaker with your accent no more? It was 9th in the Netherlands and 8th in the US and Belgium. This particular piece of music. So I spent the whole of yesterday listening to Ja Rule numbers dotting around the Northeast.
Oh my God!
Some sort of fucking 21-year-old.
You're so happening, brother. Happening.
So. This song also features on the Fast and the Furious.
What?
Thank fuck that franchise never wore out its welcome, eh?
Keeps on taking. That's going to be like Top Gun. They're going to do like a Fast and Furious franchise out of that now. It's Fast and Furious in planes.
Yeah, Fast and Furious planes, trains, and automobiles. I'm there for the train one. I'll be honest with you. Come on, me and the family, we got to get on this train. It's going off the rails, this, isn't it?
Just about. It's your fault.
So, Mr. Chase, Orlando Jones, nice guy. He's giving his driver the day off because it's his birthday, and he gives this doorman these courtside seats to the Knicks, and says to him, "Say hi to Spike for me," because as we know, Spike Lee is a massive Knicks fan, and he's always at courtside. And this guy says, "I'll do the right thing."
Oh.
And I just fucking died inside.
Is that when you knew it was downhill for you?
Yeah, it was absolutely 100% then. I was like, I have made a terrible error of judgment. Not only is no one going to listen to this episode because they've never heard of the fucking film, but I'm going to have to watch this film twice.
Oh, God. It was right there. He knew he'd fucked up.
Chase gets mugged by this massive fucking guy, this huge guy. Eddie Griffin is doing kind of dancing, and he's randomly with
a shell suit, isn't he?
Yeah,
Sort
yeah.
of shell suit. Dancing with nuns.
Yeah, he trips up the perp and goes Bruce Lee on him, giving it all the moves. It's quite good, actually. The cops turn up after he's basically beaten up the perp. The cops turn up and try and arrest him. And again, it's 'cause he's black. You know, that's the joke, I guess. Chase gets them off of him, gives him a couple of bills. He says something along the lines, I didn't make a note of it, but he says something along the lines of, oh, I'm very injured or something. And he gives him some money. He goes, and my mum's got cancer.
I know.
And he gives him another
gives him
dollar.
gives him a $5 and he says, or a cold.
Yeah,
cold?
yeah, kind of okay line. Yeah, I wasn't getting it. And then he shouts, hey, you pigs know where the ER at? Which is brilliant.
Them bolts.
Right. I've been saying for a while now, and Joe, when I went on Hallmark of Greatness to talk about Octopus! Exclamation mark, I did say to Joe, Eddie Griffin is probably somebody that should still be making movies. He recommended that I watch a film called Irish Jam, which is basically where he wins a pub in Ireland, and he's the only black man in the village, and he has to save the pub and save the village.
Right. Okay.
That's the joke. It's crap. It's absolute garbage.
Did you watch it?
Yeah, I watched probably about 2/3 of it on the treadmill at the gym. I haven't been back to the gym, which is my only excuse for not watching it.
Put you right off.
Yeah, exactly. It is mince. But looking into Eddie Griffin, I really wish I hadn't. He's been married 4 times. Not that there's anything wrong with that, I guess. It's just a bad choice. During the sexual assault allegations on Bill Cosby, Griffin suggested that Cosby was the victim of a conspiracy to destroy his image and claimed without specification that several other prominent African-American men had been victims of similar conspiracies. What a piece of shit. He played the pastor in that Lady Gaga A Star Is Born film.
Lady Gaga?
Yeah, Lady Gaga. Yeah,
I love Lady Gaga.
Like the first Russian guy that went into space. Lady Gagarin. Shit, we should be talking about the Russians. Get cancelled.
Yeah.
And apparently the reason for that is he got up to talk at Charlie Murphy's funeral. Dave Chappelle noticed how good he was talking about it and recommended him for the role a few years later.
All right. Well.
Yeah. All I could think, of course, was Charlie Murphy. Darkness, Charlie. They should have never give you motherfuckers money. Which I absolutely love that Dave Chappelle piece. It's great, but turns out he's an absolute piece of shit.
No.
He's also one of the bad guys in that Mariah Carey Honey music video. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
She's like a James Bond type character escaping all these bad guys.
Yeah.
And he's one of them, yeah. Not a big Mariah fan, but I seem to remember that being fun.
Yeah, it was a thing for a while, wasn't it, honey?
Yeah. Maybe we'll do that Mariah Carey film where she's I can't remember what that's called, Dreamer or Dreams. I can't remember what that's called. Anybody listeners?
Doesn't matter. We're not doing it anyway.
No, we might. Mate, if I'm picking films, we might. Orlando looks across the road and he spots Griffin and this guy that he'd kind of tackled, chatting and having a laugh and all this kind of thing. Anyway, he gets into the office and his secretary's like, "You look like you're in a bad mood." He said, "Oh yeah, well, what gave it away?" Did you spot who the secretary was?
No.
The always brilliant Vivica A. Fox, and she's in her first role. This one was her first role, and she is the character that Uma Thurman kills first in Kill Bill.
Oh wow! Right. Okay. Right.
Yeah. She the box of cereal. She's got the gun in the box of cereal.
Mm-hmm. Aye.
That's good.
Aye.
And turns to the little girl and says, "Look, if you're still sore about this when you're an adult, come and find me."
Find me.
It's a great line. It's brilliant. I love that. Again, better film. I wish we'd watched that. Although, I had this discussion online the other day. The Kill Bill films, probably my least favourite Tarantino's.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I've just never really got on with them. I think if it was one film, I'd kind of be a bit further into it. Although that animated bit is amazing.
Aye,
The
no,
bit
it's
where
good.
Lucy Lou's parents get killed.
Yeah. Did he
How
do?
whimper!
Did he do 4 rooms as well?
No, I think he was a producer on that.
Right. Okay. I know Tim Roth was
Yeah,
in it. I remember
yeah,
watching that
that's
and
it.
thinking it was shit.
Yeah, that's a piece of shit. No, I think Kill Bill's down there with Death Proof, personally. And Death Proof's okay, but it's not a great Tarantino.
Aye.
It's not what we're going to cover, which will be Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Double episode, ladies and gents. Double
It really will be.
episode.
It really will be, won't it?
Yeah. And then I'll have got all the references out of the way. Like, I'll not be able to do any more Blues Brothers references because we've done it.
Yeah, it's done.
It turns out that there's this Don Carlos transfers come in, right? So they're doing a deal for this Don Carlos soda. And the money that's come in has come in at $106 million more than expected.
Yeah.
Now, instantly, you would kind of go, okay, it's $5 million more. That's not right. I wonder what it is. I wonder what's going on. $106 million more.
Yeah.
Straight away, you would be like, okay, that's weird. And he goes to his gaffer.
Did you know who it was?
No, I thought it was melty-faced Stephen Fry. I didn't know who it was.
So he was in Overboard with Goldie Hawn. She was the husband, but he was also the main baddie in Lost Boys. He was the dad.
Oh, bloody hell! What a spot!
David's dad. I know. Can you believe it?
What a spot, son. Oh, well, good work. So the deal's for this Don Carlos soda company. And he's like, oh, well, we'll sort it all out because the main man's going to be here. Is there any chance you can get us extra tickets for the fashion show that your partner's in tonight? And we'll meet with Mr. Don Carlos. And he's like, yeah, no problem at all. Right. They go to this fashion show to meet this Mr. Don Carlos. And it's just birds in their scants. It's not even a fashion show.
I noticed that. I was like,
it's
what?
Like the cheapest looking thing. I mean, this must have cost fucking pennies to put together. You know, it was bad.
Just do a lot of nice looking women into a room and go start walking around.
Absolutely. Before that, though, your man Griffin turns up in his office and he's on the phone and he's basically going, "No, this is easy. You ever heard of E-Trade? It's free." And all this kind of stuff. E-Trade is a broker, $0 per trade, and they have a 4 out of 5 on nerdwallet.com, whatever the fuck that is. I don't know what their score is on cokedupebro.com, but I would assume it's probably similar.
Is it high?
Yeah. Vivek Ray Fox mentions financial.com, and I was like, that's not real. I'm going to go on that, and it's going to be like a holding page where you can buy the page for like we've just done with GoDaddy. You can buy the page for however much. Yeah. Financial.com is a real thing. It's a trading platform and wealth management app based in Munich, and according to the website, this made me die a little bit inside. Munich, the city of laptops and lederhosen. Kind of like, really? Not a mention of beer? Are you sure?
No.
Are you sure that's what you're going to do? Okay. He mentions a wire transfer. A wire transfer facilitates money transfers electronically across a network of banks or transfer agencies around the world. Senders pay the transaction at remitting bank, so the bank that's sending the money, and they provide all the details. It's basic. It still exists for larger amounts of money, but what we would do, we'd just do it in the fucking banking app now.
Aye.
But it does still exist for your kind of your bigger amounts of money. Well, exactly right. Yeah, we've just paid for our website through PayPal. 100 things that we learned from film.co.uk, ladies and gentlemen.
In the bag. Got it in the bag.
In the onion bag. Right.
You are amazing.
We're gonna. Nice. He's returning his money because he feels guilty. The security kick him out. Chase is explaining to his boss that it's not right. He's found out Don Cola does not exist. He's going to call the watchdog in the morning, and they meet the boss and his companion.
Yeah.
Right? So, Don Cola doesn't exist. Or Don fucking soda doesn't exist, right? But John, I tell you what does exist. These following 6 sodas. And all I want you to do is tell me which country are they from.
Cool.
Now, some of these make sense, so think about them before you answer. A couple of them, it's just a fucking guess, right?
Right, okay.
Number 1, simple, we'll start easy. Cola Turca. Turka. Cola Turca.
True.
True what? You need to tell me the country, you bellend.
Do that.
Yes.
Turkey.
Turkey, correct. Cola Turca is Turkey.
Right.
Next one, Future Cola. There's no tips on this one, no hints.
So where's it from? Cola. I'm going to think Japan.
Oh, you're so close. China. It's from China.
Oh, it's one of the other, wasn't it?
Number 3, Africola.
Africa.
Germany.
Oh, you bastard.
Number 4, if you don't get this one, you're getting fucking discommunicated. Red Cola.
Russia.
Mate.
Are we allowed to say that?
No, well, you are, but it's wrong, because if you go round the fucking corner shop and get a can of Red Cola made by bars, it's Scotland, you knobber. Jesus Christ. Listeners, look, can we take his fucking passport off?
I'll get my coat. I just went straight to Russia.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Was that the easy one as well?
Yeah, obviously, I'm the one drinking here, not you. And I know why. Right, think about this one. Inca Cola.
Mexico?
No, Peru in this instance, I'm afraid. And finally, the fantastically named Cockta. C-O-C-K-T. Cockta. No tips on that one.
Sweden?
Oh, Croatia, former Yugoslavian Republic.
I was thinking about Swedish porn. He cocked her.
You got a big fat 2 on that, John.
Yeah.
And you are a disgrace to your nation.
Whatever. I'll live. I'll sleep tonight, don't worry.
Okay. This character, this Don Carlos character, I've not written down his name because he's not really in it. He's got this glass eye, hasn't he? And that's kind of the joke.
Yes.
And his companion's this bang-tidy Mexican lassie, right?
Yes.
Yes. She's like, yeah. Freddy turns up in this suit with this granddad collar in, prime 2001.
That had one of the granddad collar.
Yeah,
shirts.
me too, mate. Yeah, me too. Misbehaving. He gets up on the stage. He's doing the splits, which is like his move that he does 1,000,000 times in the film, innit?
Aye. Yeah. His go-to. Hit the deck with your balls.
So back at Chase's apartment, he gets attacked, and the feds come in and kill the intruder.
Yep.
This guy, Martinez, explains deep cover for murder, extortion, and various other things. Don Carlos is a racket.
Mm-hmm.
Shows him 2 men that are on the payroll that have been watching him. Also, Freddy. He says he's a crazy man. Stay away from him. This character.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah, absolutely. Next day, the guys from the picture are chasing Chase.
Giving chase to Chase.
They are giving Chase. Boom, boom. He heads to Sherry's place, which is Vivica A. Fox's character, for no reason.
Yeah, that was a bit strange.
Finds her dead on the bed. He's like, I don't want to have to see you naked, but I will. You kind of, you fucking perv. Should have been working with him 2 weeks. The killer's still there. The cops show up, and he ducks down, and they shoot one another like the crossfire.
Mm-hmm.
He picks up the gun, and the neighbour sees him with the gun and sees the bodies. He calls this character McReady, who was the cop.
With a cane, the cop with a cane.
The cop with the cane.
Why did he have a cane? I don't understand that.
Who knows? Maybe.
But I did look up walking canes though.
All right, did you? Okay.
I did
just didn't want to run in the film.
Yeah, true that. Didn't want to go anywhere in this film. So I just looked up and it just I wasn't looking at walking sticks, but I was looking at walking canes. But they were basically just a desirable accessory in the 17th and 18th century, and they served no medical purpose whatsoever, but for pure vanity.
Okay, cool, good to know. McReady tells him to get to Mexico. He says, you've got to go to Chihuahua. And I was like, that's a dog. Don't be stupid, till I Googled it. It's in Mexico. City of Chihuahua is 925,000 inhabitants, and it's in the state of Chihuahua.
Right.
It's twinned with Albuquerque, New Mexico, but not twinned with hot dog jumping frog, Albuquerque. The tallest building there is the Lumina Tower, which is 393 feet.
Cool. Chihuahua.
So he heads to Penn Station, And in this station, there's a couple of things. So Penn Station is Pennsylvania Station. It's the main railway station in New York City. The
Right.
busiest transportation facility of any kind in the Western Hemisphere.
Well, that's a link to mine as well. Once you
Is it?
finished talking about, well, I was looking at his Kangol hat.
All right. Yeah.
Kangol was founded in 1938 in Pennsylvania.
All right. Very good. I've got a couple of Kangol hats.
Yeah, I've got my
I've got
Kangol jumper.
I've got a summery Kangol cap, which I love because it's mesh, so it's quite light. You know, I like a flat cap.
Oh, you do. You
So
do
I've got
indeed.
my woven tweed flat caps for the winter, and my Kangol one for the summer, motherfucker.
Well, I got a Kangol bomber jacket, which I loved with all my life, with the Velcro bit that you could pull off, that served no purpose at all. And I remember I worked in Slater's for a shift as a undercover security guard, made $80 and bought the jacket. Theoretically, I could have just stole it.
You could have done. Nobody expects the fucking security guard.
To nick a jacket. The perfect crime.
It was a perfect crime. It serves more than 600,000 passengers per weekday, pre-pandemic at least, and it has 21 tracks, which is nearly as many as Glasgow Central, big fella.
Yeah, I know half. Aye. Any bonus tracks?
Yeah, but you've got to wait like 10 minutes of silence at the end.
Ah, wait until after the announcements.
You don't get those anymore, do you?
Nah, that's all gone, isn't it? It's because it's streaming, isn't it?
Remember bonus tracks? Yeah.
Nobody wants to waste the dead air.
I tell you what, I would like it if it was just like 70 minutes of dead air of that ginger prick that does all the stupid songs.
Edward Sheeran.
Yeah. He's got a concave face. Like his face goes in. It looks like someone's battered the fuck out of him.
Oh, like Huffy Bourne films. What's her face? She's got a really
That's
flat.
really harsh. No, I know I know you're talking about. That's really harsh. Out of 10 things I hate about you.
Yes, she's got
No,
quite
that's the fact that I know who that is, but I'm not gonna. No, that's not very nice.
Julia
don't agree with
Stiles
that.
or something like
I
that.
think she's.
You think she's broad, didn't you?
I think she's a very attractive. I think she's a very handsome woman. So
Oh,
you leave.
okay.
You leave War Julia out of this, pal.
I'll leave you to your courting.
Corton Vale, the prison. It's a Scottish reference for you, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
Scottish reference. Scottish prison references. So he's going down the stairs at this place, and he passes this coffee shop. I suppose this coffee shop that was called Ground Central Coffee. And I was like, oh, very smart. 6 outlets in New York, Lynbrook, Murray Hill, Midtown, Fashion District, talk about up its own arse, and GC UN headquarters. Yes, really, at the UN headquarters 2 doors down.
Yep. That's
amazing. Did you spot that?
Aye, I've got my facts. That's my facts.
Yeah, the final one was Hell's Kitchen. What are you? A coffee sandwich?
Remember that? Jesus, he was a prick.
There you go.
He was
I don't know. I quite like Gordon. We were watching this week. I started watching with Rachel, and within 6 hours later that day, she'd finished watching this thing where they put all the food on a lift, and it goes down through 3 floors of kitchens.
Oh, platform.
Well, no. You're thinking about the Spanish horror film.
No.
Yeah, we're talking about a cooking program with Gordon Ramsay. And if you get in at the top, you get all the stuff first. You get in at the second one, it's a slightly shabbier kitchen. You get in at the basement, and like all the knives are blunt, and you've got fucking that creature from Creep, you know, in the tubes trying to attack you. But then you get whatever's left over at the end. But it's that horror film off Netflix, but with a cooking show.
Jesus.
That's fucking brutal, man. It's brutal. But of course, it's Gordon, and I think I like Gordon a lot.
Does it work on so many levels?
Oh, hey. Did you like that platform movie, by the way?
I enjoyed it.
So did I.
I actually did. It just goes to show how bad people can get when they're pushed.
And they'd wake up like at different levels, wouldn't they? And you're kind of like, okay, you're doing great if you're like level 10.
Yeah, you get.
But then you were like level 300 or whatever, and you've just got like fecal matter and a corpse.
Aye. Aye. One because there was a corpse in one of them, isn't there?
There
That's,
was a corpse.
that's another film. That's another film.
That is another film, yeah. It's very much like how the Tories want this country to work, or how they've got this country
Oh,
to work.
yeah. Yeah, definitely.
As he's going down this escalator, basically hiding from the cops, he said, don't talk to anybody, get yourself on the train.
Mhm.
As he's going down the thing, Eddie Griffin's character's waiting for him. He's like screaming and shouting. He's got this Kangol hat on, he's got this bright
Yep.
orange jacket. And he's like waiting for him. He's like, he uses the line, "You one rude negroid." It's like, right, I think I can say that word. I don't really know.
Yeah, I think we can.
Yeah, I think I can because it's not a word. But it did make me laugh. He spots that the fucking 5-0 are after them. So they go in the bathroom and they swap clothes. So Freddy's dressed with the glasses and he just keeps shouting at people things like, "I'll check the numbers on the ticker."
Yeah, check numbers.
Yeah. He says, "But you need to be more black." And as he's and he kind of walking
Starts
and
to
basically
swagger a
learning
bit.
to be black. He's
Yeah.
like, "Hey, what it is, jive turkey?" I thought, is it you, John?
That's right. But then he says you've been watching too much Car Wash, didn't he?
What was the last film you saw? Was it Car Wash?
I had to look that up, actually. I'll need
Right?
to
Have you
watch
not
it.
seen it?
No.
Neither had I. Neither have I. And he says, "Oh, Car Wash. Yeah, that was a good movie." Turns out, it does. Yeah, Rotten
Looks
Tomatoes
alright.
agrees. 89% on Rotten Tomatoes. Good film.
Yep.
Yeah, I've also not seen it, John, but I think it's one of those that I would really like.
Well, it's got Richard Pryor, Bill Duke, and George Carlin in it.
Yeah,
So definitely worth a watch.
you're a bit of a Bill Duke fan, you aren't you?
I really am, aye.
Yeah. He's great in Commando.
Aye. Well, I still think, I don't know why I like him in Predator. It's just, it just did it for me. I really enjoyed him.
Yeah, he's absolutely badass. Somebody from a podcast did reach out recently and said, "Can we do Commando?" And I can't remember who it is. Please get in touch. Whoever that was, we will have you on and do Commando. That'll be a lot of fun. Not you, Randall Parker. You can fuck off. All right. The feds spot Chase, or they think it's Chase, the guy in the blue suit.
Yep.
And it's Freddy. We know this guy's now called Freddy. And he turns to the cops. He says, "They're not going to be any Rodney Kings here." Like,
I know.
okay, right. How old was that reference? So I looked it up, and that reference at that time was 10 years old, right? And now, and this isn't funny. This isn't funny at all. You would think we've come so far on now from Rodney King references that we're miles and miles away.
Yeah.
But we're not, because there's been so many in the George Floyd thing and all that.
Yeah.
And we're not making light of that because we are a Black Lives Matter podcast. We still are, in spite of the fact we haven't mentioned it for a long time, but we still 100% are allies in that. But I was kind of like, okay, who Rodney King? Yeah, because it was such a punchline for so long, wasn't it?
It really was at one point.
Yeah, was there a Family Guy reference of next up Rodney King of Queens?
Aye. Yeah.
And it was like King of Queens, but he got beaten up. And that's the kind of and you're like, And again, I think probably about the same time, 2000, 2001. ACAB, we're an ACAB podcast team. Fuck them. Fuck a lot of them. If you're a cop and you're listening, I'm sure you're a fucking prick. Come at me.
That's 2 listeners away now.
I've got any police listeners. Unless they're on the scanner.
Aye.
Oink, oink. That's the sound of the police.
Sound of the beast.
They're jumping on the train and Chase barges in front of this nun because he's desperate to get on. Freddy, dressed as Chase, is getting on the train, and your man says to him, the conductor or the train manager or whatever they're called these days. He says, "Ladies, are you okay?" And he says, "Oh yeah, look, they're going on their first train journey." And he goes, "There's a first time for everything, ladies." And he slaps one of them on the arse. "Oh, you mustn't do that, son."
We did, aye.
Yeah. So that pair of feds that have been mentioned previously are talking to Chase's gaffer. As they leave, they admit that they're not NYPD as they've said they are.
Yeah.
Chase asked the conductor or the train manager for a fax, 2 dedicated phone lines, 1 with internet. Remember dial-up? The New York Times, and the train manager won't have any of his shit because he's basically black and not wearing a suit.
Yeah, is a hoodlum.
Yeah, Freddy turns up and gets everything he needs because he went, oh, yes, sir, absolutely, whatever.
I looked up hard lines on trains,
Right.
Never mentioned anything about it. It says most American railroads trains probably did not have phones, so I
I
don't
wouldn't
really
have
know.
thought so. I wouldn't have thought so. It's not the best written film though, is it? let's be entirely fair.
It's just the way you said it. I thought, oh man, they probably got hard lines back in the day, but when I looked at it, like, nah, not so much.
Yeah. They're at dinner in the dining car, right? Freddy's given him his gold tooth. It's like a crown, isn't it? He's
Aye.
basically pulled it off and given it him.
Yeah.
If you wanted a crown or a gold tooth, they usually cost over £745, including fitting with a private dentist, and approximately half of that on the NHS, according to Hove Dental Clinic. So if you want to go to Brighton, get yourself a gold tooth, you could.
Nice.
Just so
Nice.
you know.
I'll stick with my lead grey fillings.
I was going to say, I'll stick with my fucking brown teeth. Thank you very much. Miscoloured teeth. They're in this dining car, of course, and they're talking about what they're going to order. Freddy orders prime rib, Grand Marnier on the rocks, right? Prime rib is a ribeye steak to you and me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
I didn't know that, but it makes perfect sense. Grand Marnier is a French liqueur. It tastes of orange, first produced in 1880, and is 40% alcohol in the UK.
Is
The
that
UK imported version.
Is that where they put an orange whip? Orange whip?
Orange whip. Orange whip. Orange whip. 3 orange whips, please. Yeah, possibly. And then the guy comes to Chase and asks him, and he's kind of doing the southern accent. I have a yard bird. Spit on it with some Tabasco, and you're kind of like, oh my god, this is all like shit. This is yard bird is a southern term for a chicken. It's also slang for a basic trainee in the forces.
Cool.
Can't call it the force anymore because it's you call it the service. Previous episode, Hot Fuzz. We haven't talked about Hot Fuzz in a while, have we?
So we should all be using the service.
We should all be getting serviced. And what does he ask to drink? Did you notice?
Oh, is that one of the fitty?
A Schlitz malt liquor. And I was kind of like, what is this an impression? Like, this is a very specific impression.
Yeah.
What is this an impression of that I'm missing here? I wasn't sure. Schlitz malt liquor, defunct in 1999 and sold to Pabst Brewing Company.
They're the Pabs. Yeah. Pabs.
They make the Colt 45 malt liquor, which your man brings him later on. You know the big can.
So he does. Aye.
You like a big can of beer, don't you? You like a pint can of Stella.
Stella. Yeah. Every time I can't go with the little tiny bottles. It's just a waste of time. Of time.
You canny go.
I can't do it.
As they're talking, he says, "Look, talk to me." He says, "You can talk to me." He says, "Explain to me, what's up." Chase explains Sherry's dead. Freddy explains that he can tell him anything. He's done business everywhere. Brazil, Colombia, Puerto Rico, all the Mexican countries. Which I kind of like. That is such an American kind of view. He says they're being watched by Curly from the Globetrotters, right? And I was like, yeah, that guy does look like Curly at the Globetrotters. Frederick Curly Neal was a point guard for the Globetrotters 1963 to 1985, died in 2020 at the age of 77. R.I.P. that guy.
Remember the cartoon?
Yeah, absolutely. And did they do a thing with Scooby-Doo?
Scooby-Doo, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I remember that as well.
As they're talking about the guy that's serving them, he says he's an Uncle Phil looking motherfucker, which I kind of liked because he did look a little bit like the guy that played Uncle Phil.
So he did R.I.P.
Of course, we know the guy that played Uncle Phil was also the Shredder in 103 episodes of the Turtles cartoon. By the way, John, today, only today, did I see that they are re-releasing all the SNES, NES, and Game Boy Turtle games in one package on the PS5, PS4, PS5.
Jesus.
So that's going to be me getting stuck back into that NES Turtles game.
That's you going back in time.
That's Turtles through time. Yeah, indeed. One of them goes into the toilet, doesn't he? Chase goes into the toilet.
Yep.
And he's kind of like, and as he's kind of in the toilet, Freddy says to this curly guy, he says, "Excuse me, can you help me get in the bathroom?" He says, "I can't get this door." He says, "Yeah, absolutely." And as he gets to open the door, just bangs it open and knocks him out. Now, that door looked like it was made of fucking polystyrene, man.
Aye, I wouldn't knock anything out. Wouldn't knock a thing out.
Just there on your West Coast mainline train door.
No, like one of your bloody stars in their eye doors on your trains, the big bloody rounded thing. That would take anybody out, wouldn't it? It's huge.
Stars in their eyes. Tonight, Matthew, I'm going to be Shania Twain.
A big blue plume of brown smoke.
Jesus.
Tonight, Matthew, I want to be on time.
Tonight, Matthew, I'm going to be Johnny Mathis. And I'll never forget the time that they blacked somebody up to be Johnny Mathis.
Oh, so they did. I forgot about that. Jesus.
Hell, brutal.
Let's not go back there. Jesus.
So they've knocked Curly out, and they're trying to find out who he's they've stopped at this station. They're trying to find out who he's working for. And they've obviously stopped to take on more things or have a break or whatever. I don't really know. They're basically on their way to Mexico, and where they've stopped is Texas. Now, You know me, I'm a bit of a pedant. When you just get something between your teeth, I'm not so sure. So I looked, how much is a train ticket from Mexico to New York City? I was on the AMTRAK website, and you can't do it.
Yeah,
you can do Texas, right? Just like in the
from New York to Texas?
Yeah.
Right, okay.
$251 for a seat in coach, and $1,179 for a room, which I guess is what they were in, because they never filmed them in the room because obviously it's a set. And it takes 51 hours.
Jesus, so if you were your own standard or coach, you would need to sleep on your seat?
For basically 2 nights. And that is changing at Sweet Home Chicago. I'll just fly, I think.
I was going to say that, probably cheaper. I think it says something like about $108 or something.
Yeah. At the time, that kind of checks out, doesn't it? But it's not direct. Again, John, why must films lie to us?
I don't know. What if we wanted to actually do it for reals?
51 hours? Mate, we'd just bite the fucking bullet and spend a few more bob flying, wouldn't you?
Aye, you really would.
Absolutely. Aye. I mean, I love the Earth and I don't want it to fucking burn. But, that's over 2 days of your holiday just sat on a fucking train.
Yeah, I know, but you could catch up on the Game of Thrones if you had to.
just not the last series.
Aye, what last series?
Very good. As they're changing the trains or whatever, you man the conductor, because there's only one person on this fucking train except the guy in the shop, the guy in the restaurant.
Yeah.
He's getting more newspapers on the train. Freddy stops him and he says, "Can I have a look at one of those newspapers, my man?" And he's having a look at the newspaper and he sees page 3. There's Chase.
Jones.
Yeah, he's looking for him. They're looking for him. Okay, great. We'll get that. We'll do it. And he says, let's just say that those never made it there. And he gives him $100, and the guy goes, "I'm sorry, sir, I don't have change for $100. He's like, "Fine," and gives him another $100. And he's like, "Yeah, whatever." Like, no, just say to him, "It's $100 and it's yours." Aye. Instead, he gives into like fucking Freddy's such. Is he such an idiot? I don't really know. And it messes with my fucking cheat when there's a flip a little bit later on.
Aye, it's like Mad Dog Murdoch in it. Like, you don't know whether he's crazy or you don't know whether he's a genius. So I know what you mean.
Yeah, he's a idiot savant, as you would have said at the
Aye.
time. Can you do they still use that term? Because I assume idiot savant has been replaced by somebody on the spectrum.
Aye.
Hmm.
Aye. We can't. Right. They'll have changed it. They'll have changed it to something else.
And rightly so. And rightly so. He explains that there's a reward out for him, and he says, "Look, I'm not Freddy Chase, but I work for the FBI, and my name is Fred
Fred
Chase."
Chase. Aye.
Fred Chase.
Brilliant.
Yeah. He doesn't believe him. Chase knocks him out and takes his passport. He's got this wallet, which is like a kind of like a CD wallet, like a wallet full
It
of
does.
business cards, driving license, and all sorts. Takes his driving license, his passport, throws Freddy off the train.
So he
right?
does.
Now, and Freddy jumps back on the train, but gets knocked out by this sign. Right now, I looked up AMTRAK trains. AMTRAK trains will go a maximum of 150 mile per hour on a straight. So Mans would absolutely 100% be dead.
Yeah. And unable to catch it. It would pull his arms off.
Yeah, exactly. He's going back to his room. The conductor, the manager, sees that, and we don't mention this, that Freddy has this dog.
Yeah.
Doesn't he? He has this dog, Dolores. Dolores the dog. It's this little fucking Pomeranian thing. And the guy says, "I'm sorry." He says, "Sir, no dogs on my train." And like the next, like it's not even a stop, is it? It's like a fucking crossroads.
Aye.
They drop him off at this fucking this arm
Anywhere.
that goes up with the dog. Yeah, absolutely. If you wanted to take your pet on an AMTRAK train, John, you could do. You could take Keith. Absolutely, I could take Colin if I wanted to. Small dogs and cats can travel for $26. Seems like a fucking racket, doesn't it?
I know.
Maximum weight of £20, including the weight of the pet carrier that they must remain in throughout.
Right.
Which is absolutely fine, but this little ginger bastard, who I've just woke up by shouting, this little ginger bastard would do nothing but meow for the whole 50-odd hours.
He would just
he hates being trapped. Hates it.
Bloody cat.
But then I'd do nothing but fucking meow and drink for the whole time. I would be wanting my Schlitz malt liquor, I'm telling you.
I know half. And a funnel.
Chase buys this banger, doesn't he, and drives it to the border, this old fucking wreck of a car.
But he's getting more black as he's driving along, isn't he?
Yeah, absolutely. He makes out he's Freddie Tiffany at the border, and he's like, where are these big ass Mexican women at? And you're kind of like, okay, this has been done a lot better a million times before, mate.
Yeah.
Chill the fuck out. These gun cops turn up. Apparently, Freddy's wanted for the governor's murder that we saw at the beginning. Hang on a second. Something's going on. Chase turns around, drives back to the US side with the cops after him, dumps his car in the junkyard where Freddy is, and has him at gunpoint.
Oh, yeah. He's in there, isn't he? For some reason, just appears anywhere.
Yeah. We find out why he's just disappearing. Yeah. Freddy explains he's FBI, that he knew where he was at all times. Now, John, should you want to travel across the border from Mexico into the US, you absolutely can, 100%. But, and here's the thing, right? You can do it for free as long as you don't travel any further than 22 miles or 35 kilometers from the border. If you do, you have to pay $22. So if you're traveling from Mexico to the US and your destination is, let's say, Seattle, they will see that on your visa or your entry, and they will say, right, okay, you're going to have to pay the $22. Right. If you're traveling to San Diego or Wales Vagina, as it translates to, then you don't have to pay that because it's less than 22 miles.
All right, okay.
That's quite interesting, isn't it?
That's
an interesting fact, ladies and gentlemen. You'll get some use out of that one. They bond over listening to music on the radio. I'm going to tell you this, right? There was a couple of decent hip-hop numbers on this. Yeah. And they're listening to tunes on the radio, and they're arguing whether it's... I think they're arguing it's Grandmaster Flash, Run DMC, whatever, right? Yeah. And I'm there for both of them. They're getting fuel, and Chase is popping these moves. He moves like me, right? He dances like me, the whitest man that's ever existed, right? And they have a dance-off. Freddy is giving it all the moves. Freddy can move. Obviously, he does the splits thing again.
Yep.
And Chase drives off as he's doing that. Chase ends up at this motel, El Emu.
Yeah, I've seen that. Brilliant.
Yeah. And there's loads of emus. And as he's in the thing, he's talking to this woman behind the thing. And he's like, what is that smell? And your man behind, who's obviously the husband, is like, that, son, is the wave of the future.
Emu shit.
Emu shit, yeah. He says 98% fat-free, easily farmable bird. Right. Emus, there's 4.7 grams of fat in 100 grams of emu. So there isn't 98% at all. It's like 95.3%, right? Why must films lie to us? In a bison, it's 14.8%. Beef, LeBoeuf, 16.4%. And turkey, Turkey-Cola, 13.2%. So there's it is definitely the lowest, but not as much as it is. But all I could think, of course, was emu farm. Oh, Marge, you're precious. Emu meat. I couldn't find any emu meat for sale from a butcher's in the UK, but I could find a kilo of ostrich meat from Oslink Farms in Lincolnshire.
Wow. Okay.
Which the first guy that ever bought us a Buy Me a Coffee, Mr. Pedersen. Hello, sir, if you're still listening. Probably not. But if you're still listening, very, very grateful for that coffee you bought us 2 years ago. Beer. And he was in Lincolnshire. I remember, just stuck in my head that. £40 for a kilo of ostrich meat.
Oh, God, that's a lot, isn't it?
Couldn't find emu meat at all. But that particular farm also does alligator and kangaroo.
All right, makes sense.
I mean, if you're going to eat meat, just fucking eat the lot. I have had croc and I've had kangaroo, and they're both delicious.
Man, I've
Just eat that shit.
Had cat and rat.
What? Stop eating cats.
Good Pollock upbringing.
That's good eating. That's good eating. Cat farm. Oh, John, you're are precious.
So
I missed a little bit where Freddy says, "All aboard the night train," and I was like, "That brought back some fucking."
Were you on board with that?
Because I used to go out dancing when I was 16, because I looked about 25 when I was 16. A tune by Kaduk, German Europop artist. Number 9 in the Netherlands and number 25 in Flanders. Stupid, sexy Flanders. But you must remember that tune. That must have been about the time you were out dancing.
That's when I was throwing some shapes, big man. Yeah. Throwing some shapes. But according to latest UK, I say latest, right? There's an agricultural census which was conducted in 2007, but there's approximately 1,500 emu farms and roughly 11,500 emus in the US. What?
Just thinking about that. Do they have their hair over like one eye? And are they always listening to the Black Parade? Those emus.
And looking for that car. Dude, where's my car? Emu farm, stupid emus. Oh no, it was an ostrich, wasn't it?
It was an ostrich.
Oh my God!
That was. Hang on, was Dude, Where's My Car filmed in Lincolnshire? And then.
And then.
Not a future episode. Don't you?
No, I watched it recently. It's no aged well.
Oh, did you? I went again. Another film I was fucking stupid enough to go to the cinema and see.
Jesus, but it was, to be fair, it was good at the time.
No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. Even then, I knew it was a piece of shit.
Sexy ladies, giant lady with underpants on. Brilliant.
The owner explains, as Chase leaves, that he knows who he is. He recognises him. He knows who he is. And he checks the wanted poster. Because, of course, and maybe that's the joke, all black men look the same.
I know. I got that.
No, I couldn't quite figure that out.
Yeah.
Is that what we're doing in 2001?
I think that's what they might have been going. That's what they're trying to do.
Chase calls McReady, who explains to ignore Freddy. He hangs up and calls his bird back in New York. They're tracking the call, and then Freddy comes in just as they're about to track the 6th number. Freddy comes in, gun to the head, and makes him hang up. He explains the reason he knows where he is, because he's tracking him with this button badge and a pager. Because it's 2001. And you know what, John? We have exhausted pages. There is no more facts on pages.
Nah,
we're never going to be able to come up with another facts on pages. We've done it. We've done it to death. The dog is part of the investigation, he says. You're like, okay. And we haven't mentioned the dog a lot, but there's a lot of bark of the dog. There's a little funny line coming up with the dog, which I really love. He said he was trying to stop the government from getting shot, and he made it too late. And he's been framed by the same people that Chase is being set up by.
Yep.
They're holed up in their room, and these other trucks turn up. There's a Pepsi truck, a Mother's Cookies van, and the Fiji water wagons turn up. And he's like, oh my God, it's the Pepsi truck. Oh no, it's the Fiji water. And you can like, okay, why? And I guess it's the soda thing, ? But also...
Product placement.
It's, like the worst fucking product placement
it really
in the
was,
world
wasn't it?
ever. Yeah.
Pointless.
Mother's Cookies, founded in 1914 and now owned by Ferrero Inc., makers of my stepmom's favourite chocolate, those truffle things that posh people eat covered in sawdust.
Oh, with these Ferrero Rocher, you're really spoiling us.
Well, yeah, don't take the piss, because every time I see my mum, because she's not well, I always take her a big box of Ferrero Rocher, because I'm really fucking spoiling her. So don't...
Do you dress up as the ambassador and walk about with your silver tray?
Mate, I turn up like fucking Alfred in those original Tim Burton movies, giving it the big... Michael Gough giving it the big... Mom, because she actually is my mom. My mom. Yeah, your mom. Anyway, don't know where that's going. Fiji water. Water bottled and shipped from Fiji since 1996. In 2009, Fiji water had 85 million sales. $85 million worth of sales, sorry. There you go. But I couldn't find anything past then. So I assume less sales? It's just fucking water, man. Get it from Buxton, like everybody else.
Exactly. Get it for the tap.
Yeah. Get it from the tap. You know what? You can tell we're from Scotland and the lakes, because we get our water from the tap.
We can drink it for the tap.
we were in London a couple of weekends ago, as all the listeners know, because I referenced it in last week's episode, and I got I can't wash in that water. I can't wash in London water.
Oh really?
Yeah, because it's Rachel's skin breaks us out in awfulness. Jesus. Drinking, and I was drinking beer with a taste of the Thames. London Pride, of course. London listeners, just come and see it. Look, Belsons, you're due a fucking visit, boys. Get yourselves up here and you have a bath. Have a bath at our house.
Aye, and drink some of the water. That's just really good water.
As creepy as it sounds, I promise. please don't unfollow.
I was thinking about Ricky Fulton with his holy water. That's just really good water.
This is really good water. So there's a bar at the motel as well. So they're in the bar at the motel. And the woman from the reception's also singing.
Yeah.
She's singing this song, I Threw Our Ring Down the Toilet. And I was like, that's a fucking pretty good song. Not a real song, made up for this film. Yeah. Written by the director, funnily enough. She's then later on singing I Fall to Pieces, Patsy Cline. Second mention of Patsy Cline in 2 episodes. 1961. It was number 12 in the USA and number 13 in Australia, boys.
Australia.
I Fall to Pieces. Because it's fucking red hot. Anyway, these wagons open up, basically attacking them. So there's the cops turn up at one end.
Yep.
These guys turn up at the other end, and your man, that's the owner of the place, turns up with one rifle. He takes a shot, and they think they're shooting one another. So they kind of shoot one another. There was a really shitty rocket launcher for you, John.
Yep.
Just like last week. The owner of the hotel turns up at the border crossing with Chase, who he thinks is Freddy. The local cops arrest him. And he's like, you're smiling at me like I'm Regis and I have the $1 million. Of course, a reference to Regis Philbin and Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. He explains he isn't who They think
You
he
think?
is.
Yep.
Yeah, and he says, oh look, I want my phone call. I'm going to call McReady. And your man's like, do you want us to call Johnny Cochran? Like, yes, please, because Johnny Cochran was still alive at this point. Johnny Cochran, of course, defended who, John? What fucking massive arsehole did Johnny Cochran defend?
Oh, Simpson.
Yes, Mr. Simpson himself, O.J. Simpson, correct.
OJ.
Heading over the border to Mexico, the real Freddy tries to drive over the river, and he's like, "Yeah, this is easy. We coasting." This kind of stuff. He says, "Hey, Dolores, try speaking Mexican from here on in." And instead of barking, she starts going, "Me, me, 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 me," like making
That's quite funny.
it's a great dog acting. It's a brilliant dog acting. I liked that a lot. And as a man with a little dog, you'd have appreciated that.
Yeah, that was good. I enjoyed that.
In a private jet, Chase's gaffer and his piece are on the way to Mexico. As Freddy gets kicked out of border control car, he says, "I ain't getting out." And then they kick him out. He's like, "Sure, here is fine." Which I was kind of like, yeah, okay. Give me a proper laugh. McReady is here to get Chase out of jail.
Yep.
We're nearly there, John. As he's leaving, he recognises that the heavy that's with McReady was the guy that McReady shot in his apartment. Yeah. He's alive and well outside. So Chase runs for it, and the boss of Don Carlos Cola, the guy with the eye, is working for McReady. So there's this big house, and here's Chase and Freddy for the showdown. There's a Mexican standoff in Mexico. I was kind of into that. He says, "Your life is worth less than a Mexican food stamp right now." It's kind of like, okay. Yes, they do have food stamps in Mexico. They also have them in Puerto Rico. It's called the ETB. The ETB is used in New Mexico, and Puerto Rico, and it's basically what they give poor people in America. Apparently, they also do it in certain parts of Mexico.
Hey, okay.
The Don Carlos guy says, "I can only get my money back if I cooperate with America." And so it's to stop McReady, who's in on it, and the banker boss. So what he's done is he's got $600 million worth of his money in American deals.
Yep.
So he's going to be good and grass them all in a bid to try and get at least some of his money back, if not all of it. There's a big shootout, and they escape when Freddy sets off the sprinkler system by shooting it. I'm not sure that would work, but okay. There's one guy down at the bottom, isn't he? He says, he says, "Have you had golf lessons? Here's a little lesson from Tiger. 4," and he shoots the chandelier, and the chandelier falls on the guy. It's like fucking Only Fools and Horses.
It really is, isn't it?
Finally, McReady's there. He said, "Look, I'm going to get you. I never miss." Dolores bites him on the ankle. Yep. And he shoots himself in the foot, and then he falls down the stairs. And every single time he bounces down the stair, he shoots himself.
I know, that's too funny.
And at the bottom, Eddie Griffin's character is like, "He was right. He does never miss." I loved it. Funny. The secretary character, Vivica A. Fox, is FBI, and she's still alive, and she's badass like she's in Kill Bill.
Yep.
And the epilogue is on the beach that the Mexican kind of companion woman is Freddy's partner, as in romantic partner. They've got a band together, cute band as well. That kid is now working age. And they're on this beach talking. Chase grabs the pen to click it, and I'd missed this. I didn't put this in my notes, and I knew I hadn't put it in my notes because it just wasn't particularly funny. There's a bit where there's like a box of pens. I didn't realise why there was a box of pens.
Neither did I, but it
wasn't really explained very well. And one of them, if you clicked it a few times, it caused like the fucking seals. It responds
within 30 seconds on it.
Yeah. And he does that, and they come in. These fucking choppers come in, and mans are coming up on the beach. And all this kind of stuff.
It's like Call of Duty, isn't it?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, this strike team. And that's the end of the film. I was fucking delighted to see the back of it, I'm honest, John. It's the first film I've watched twice in a long time, and it was so mercifully short.
It really was. It really was.
It wasn't too bad.
Short and shit. Short and
Yeah,
sweet.
I've got a few other bits and pieces. What about you?
So I've got in the United States, the current cost of an artificial eye ranges between $2,500 to $8,300.
Right, is it just glass? It's just a glass one.
Yeah, it's just last night.
Okay.
Yeah. The phrase 5150, pronounced 5150,
Yeah,
has been used for some time now across the nation to refer to the actions of a doctor, mental health professional, or police officer, or even family member in voluntarily committing someone to a mental health treatment facility.
yeah, it can be held in a psychiatric hospital against their will for up to 72 hours. I
You,
had that as
you had that
well.
as well. You got it. You got it.
Good work. Yeah, yeah. 5150.
That's all I've got, mate. So you go for it.
Okay. There was a bit where they were tracking him in a Boar's Head brand wagon. Boar's Head brand is real because, God forbid, they shouldn't fucking advertise everything in this. They are the suppliers of meat and cheese to delicatessens across the USA.
Right.
At the very, very beginning, your man is in a Washington Redskins jacket, isn't he?
Yeah.
You said he was in a shell suit. Established in 1932, they are now called the Washington Commanders, which took about 20 years to come about because white men are fucking babies. Won the Super Bowl 3 times, 82, 87, and 91. And that is all I wrote.
Is that
So,
you?
as I'm totting them up, Sunshine, how many do you think we got?
A solid 65,
Keep going.
75,
Keep going.
85,
86.
86. Do you know that?
86.
I'm really happy with that because, yeah, there was not much to go on here, this one.
It was not a lot of fun.
Nah, it wasn't. And there was not a lot of things we could get from it apart from destinations, emu farms, and
Emu Farm?
emu
Oh,
farms.
John.
Emu farm.
Emu Farm. Yeah. But that, yeah, do you know what? So, yeah, it wasn't a great film, but it is what it is.
No. We've not. To be fair, we've not had a bad one in a while. So
Right, okay. You can find us wherever you find your podcasts, rate and review, do whatever you need to do. You can join us on our brand new website, 100, the number 100, 100 things we learned from film.co.uk. We're
what?
paid money for that, and we're paying money for some fucker to build us one, so that's going to be sexy. And yeah, that's going to be sexy and lovely and probably janky as fuck. So who knows? You can find me everywhere at the minute. I have recently recorded with Hallmark of Greatness, talking about octopus! Exclamation mark. If you want to experience a bit more of Joe on our podcast, we talked about the fantastic Bend It Like Beckham. You can find me almost semi-regularly on Cult Connections. I am on the new Cult Connections podcast, which is Cult Connections Review Show. We did last night, about a few days ago as this goes live, we did our response to the new trailer for Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Obi-Wan.
That was fantastic. Oh, Bobi-Wan. Brilliant stuff. And as of, I want to say next week, but it could be a couple of weeks from now, but I will remind you, I was on Weird Thing About That podcast talking about celebrities and telling a very fucking filthy, dirty, not safe for work story about a very popular 80s Northern Irish comedian. But I will be linking that on the social media. That was filthy, John. You'll love that. I think it might be a story that your Kirsty knows. John, where else can we find you that's not this fucking podcast?
So we're still work in progress and still working through Divided by a Common Language with Be the Wilson and the Wilson family. So it's still going, big man. It's still
It's
going,
a
me and
lot of
Kirsty.
fun. I enjoy
Yeah.
listening to that. When I'm not part of it, I certainly make
That's
sure
good.
that I'm listening. So what we doing next week, John?
We are doing we are doing White Chicks.
Mate, chance would be a fine thing.
I was going to say that. Don't make me say it. Don't make me say it.
Indeed. Yeah, so we are going to be talking about White Chicks. It's a film I've never seen. It's a film people have been telling me to watch for 20 years, pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to be fucking dog shit, I'm sure of it. But a lot of people speak very highly of it. So
Yeah.
you can join us next week for that nonsense. Until then, I've been train obsessed Planty with a fucking GoPro on my head, asking people to fucking beep beep as they go by. Yeah, I'm that fucking wanker. And he's been John Boy, and this has been 86 things, inexplicably 86 things. We've learnt like one thing for almost every minute that this fucking film exists.
Totally.
That's crazy. About double take. Double take. See ya.
See you guys.